The information given on this program is not, nor is it intended to be legal advice. You should consult an attorney for individual advice regarding your own situation. Legal Help Live is brought to you by Barney's Beanery at 8447 Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood.
When you were young, remember the neighbor you could turn to for help? Or as you grew older, the friend you could count on to help solve a problem? Today, you can find the same spirit of support at First Private Bank and Trust. By working closely with individuals, families, and businesses, we provide customized private banking solutions, plus investment management and trust services to help our clients achieve their wealth building and legacy goals. One-to-one. Banking refined, excellence defined.
iLearnFast.com, a division of CityCom, and Rodolfo Buonocore at www.rodolfobuonocore.com.
Okay, everybody, this is not a coincidence. My name is Ralph Saltzman, and that is Steve Jameson. And
not Steve Solomon.
Neither one of us.
No.
And this is the Legal Help Live team, because we are on Legal Help Live, and you're watching City TV Channel 16 if you're watching us from Santa Monica. But if you're watching us from Los Angeles, it's LA 36. So if you drop the remote and the channel changes, now you know how to get back. 16 in Santa Monica, 36 in Los Angeles. We're here to answer your legal questions, but you got to call us first, because that's how it works. 1-800-405-4222. That is a toll-free number. And I like to tell people that it's easier to get on the show and ask a legal question earlier in the show rather than later. And sometimes you guys listen and sometimes you don't. Last week we got completely jammed up at the end. We couldn't answer everybody's calls. And so if you're on hold from last week, you've got good staying power. I appreciate that. And if you want to talk to us, better now than later, 1-800-405-4222. Hey, what's up?
Hey, not much. Thanks for joining us this afternoon on Legal Help Live. As Ralph said, we're here every Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and we're here to answer those questions that you've been saving up all week long. So 800-405-4222 is the number to call. You can call that number now. We can talk to you right now, answer those questions you've been burning to ask, and finding out what we think about some of these legalities. You know, what do you think about this AIG situation?
Well, I was just going to say,
it burns me to death that these guys are getting these bonuses. And I heard today that they left. They took their bonuses, and a lot of them actually left the company.
Well, interesting.
What's up with that?
What's interesting about all that to me, among other things, is those are retention bonuses.
Yeah.
Those are bonuses to keep these guys in the company so that they can keep, what, losing money?
I guess, yeah.
Tearing the company apart? I don't know, but I do know that the president's in the Southlands today. He's in Southern California.
Looking for that money.
Yeah, but there's a legal issue. He says the buck stops here, referring to himself, as did Truman so many years ago. And the question is it legal now to require those folks to return the money? Can they get the money? Can they recapture the money?
That's an interesting thing.
Was it legal to withhold the money before it was disseminated to these
along those same
bonuses?
Along those same lines.
So Paul, 1-800-405-4222. Brock, you're up first. Yes.
Was it illegal for the UAW or the other union contracts to be renegotiated? Maybe, maybe not. Did they renegotiate them? No, they didn't. Did those people lose their jobs? Did they get retention bonuses? No. You know, I saw interviews of people basically in Detroit that were saying they have been working for the car companies for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. They're members of the union. They're UAW. They've got collective bargaining contracts that allow them, require them to be paid a certain amount of money. They didn't get any retention bonuses. They didn't get any money like that. Those contracts were broken, and I just don't get it. I don't get why AIG could do it, and I don't get why the government would allow it to happen.
I think
It makes me mad.
you're kidding. I think
Yeah,
a nice
it really
approach
does.
would have been, no, we're not going to give you the retention bonuses. Stay, leave, and if you're unhappy about it, sue the government.
Absolutely.
I think that would have been kind of fun. You know,
Well, the
Steve-
government owns 80% of it anyway now.
Well, that's why sue the government. Steve, we've got a call from West Los Angeles. We also have a call from East Los Angeles. Let's do East LA first.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
William from East LA.
Hi, William. What can we do
William?
for you?
Anyway, no big deal. Listen, guys, I'm in the process of selling a home that technically wasn't mine. What I had done a while back, maybe about 7 years ago, my cousin was going to lose his house. He didn't have the money to get out of it. And so what I did is I purchased the home from him, and I got a new loan, and then he, in turn, just was paying the mortgage over these last 7 years.
All right, so
And
when
I knew I would have to get out of it.
when money changed hands, you didn't change the title.
Yeah, we changed. Everything is in my name now.
Okay.
And he lives there.
Yeah, he lives there.
Okay.
And he pays the mortgage, and he's been paying the mortgage. You know, all I did was basically change ownership of the home and accepted the note, you know, under my name. But
Okay.
he's been paying the note.
So you
Well-
actually transferred title to the property, and you are now on the mortgage, so it's your loan to pay. But he lives there.
Correct.
And you
Okay.
want to sell the house now.
Now I want to get out of it. I need to get out of it, and I want to sell the home, and I'm going to sell the home, you know, for whatever I can maximize for my cousin, and then he can just go out since everything's so cheap right now. Maybe get a home that's a little less, and not have such a high mortgage.
And
What I'm concerned about is the taxes. The taxes when I do this transaction, I have the house listed for $335,000, and the payoff is about $175,000. So what's going to happen? You know, I was thinking through escrow as well, that just before I could give him the home back and then let him sell it to the new buyer.
Well, the problem is that no matter who sells it or who transfers the money, transfers the house, that person's going to be responsible for whatever tax liability there is. In fact, if you transfer that house, is it your brother?
This is my cousin.
Your cousin?
Cousin,
If
yeah.
you transfer that house to your cousin, that transfer may trigger a tax liability. And then your cousin's going to take that house, and then he selling that house may trigger another tax liability. Really what you need to do is to make sure that you sit down with a lawyer, go over the documents, and find out from the lawyer the best way possible in your situation to do that. If you try and act right now by either transferring it to your cousin or doing something else that you think may be appropriate, you may end up being liable for more taxes than you otherwise would be. It's possible that because of the way that you did it, you can sell it, maybe trigger whatever tax liability there is, get compensated for that amount of money, and then everybody will work out just fine. You'll end up paying whatever money you can to your cousin. But you need to figure out what to do before you do it and not transfer title to anything.
William, Steve says talk to a lawyer. You might also, if you have an accountant that you trust, you might talk to your accountant as well. Your accountant's going to be able to give you tax advice. He's going to be able to tell you perhaps this transfer is going to have some exemptions to it. Maybe the tax is less than you think. Maybe there are allowances under the capital gains laws. Maybe you want to do it this year rather than next year. Talk to either your lawyer or your accountant, and you'll be able to structure the deal the best way. It's doable, certainly, but what you want to do is to minimize your tax obligation, as my partner's just explained.
And you know, there's something else that you might consider too, and it concerns me a little bit on how the transfer took place. It sounds like your cousin has been living in the house, owned the house, and then you decided to take over that mortgage because of whatever financial issues or problems that he has, and it was always your intent that he actually own the house. One of the issues that you need to bring up with the lawyer is exactly how that was done, because you may not have intended to cause any kind of a misrepresentation to occur with the lender, but that may have actually occurred. So before you take any action that way, talk to a lawyer where there's an attorney-client privilege and it's confidential, not like you're talking